Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Raquel Teaches Web Development. My name is Raquel, and today in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you about HTML links. And so this is going to be the first of three parts about HTML links. And so this first part is all about anchor links. Okay. One thing you should keep in mind is that to understand this tutorial, you need to have already watched the tutorial on HTML IDs and classes. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. It's a very short video, but you need that to understand what I'm about to do. All right. So let me click into the code editor because that's what we do here. All right. So links. What are links? Links are code or text that when it appears on a web page, you can click it and it does something, meaning that it either takes you to a document, it takes you to another part of the page, or it takes you to another page or website altogether. Okay, and so the type of link that takes you to another part of the page, that is called an anchor link. And that's what I'm going to be showing you how to create today. All right, and showing you how that works. Anchor links are sometimes also referred to as bookmark links. I've seen that written in places, though I've never called it that, and no one I have ever worked with calls it that. We always just call them anchor links, or some people just call them links. Links within the page, intra-page links, something like that. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So in the code editor, we're starting with a blank page, right? I'm starting with a blank page. And so the reason why you want to create an anchor link is because a lot of times what may happen is that you have a lot of content on a page and you want to be able to navigate to that content quickly. So if you've ever been on a shopping website or on a website, maybe it's like some kind of informational website where they have lots of paragraphs about different topics and you only want to get to a subtopic, you're able to create a way for people to just click on a link and jump right to that subtopic without having to wade through all the other content. And so that's what I'm going to do here today, show you how to create that. So I am going to first add a really long paragraph in here that just has a whole bunch of filler text, right? So I'm going to add some lorem ipsum text. I'm not sure how to make a really long paragraph automatically, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep pasting a whole bunch of text in there. Boom, 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 boom. That's a really big paragraph, right? A lot of lorem ipsum text. And if we switch back to the browser and refresh, we're going to see it's a big paragraph there. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to display because I am displaying this HTML on my bigger screen. And so it doesn't look like a lot. So I may have to move this down to my smaller screen. The joys of live streaming. So let's see how this works out. I probably should have tested this before and I didn't. Oops, my bad. All right, so the idea here is to have some kind of navigation menu before all this content and that it lets you navigate down to a specific piece of content. And so you do that with links. So let's switch back to the code editor here. So I wanted to just have all that content on the page first. So let me show you how to create a link and then how to create the anchors to link to different places. And so the way that a link is created in HTML, it's using the A tag. All right. And the A tag has a few pieces that are necessary to make it work as a link. So first of all, you just start off with an A and you always want, this has a closing tag and you most definitely want to make sure you always have that. If you don't, you will get errors and it won't work. So make sure you put your opening and closing tag. If you forget, the error that you get on your page will remind you to do so. So it's best to just get into the habit of doing that now. So A tag is what you use to create links. And so in the A tag, one of the attributes, one of the additional things we can add to it is called the Href attribute, right? So it's just simply the word href, an equal sign, and a set of double quotes. And then within that set of double quotes, you can insert what it is you want to link to. Okay, what it is you want to link to. And so for example, when it comes to a link in within the same page, which is what we're doing here, we want to make sure that we first decide where we want the link to jump to, and then assign that location within this Href attribute. All right. And so the way we can assign a location in HTML for anchor links is by using an ID. All right, you have to assign an ID to an element, and then you're going to use that ID within the link tag to be able to jump to it. All right, so let's just say, for example, that I have another paragraph underneath this big paragraph I created. So actually, let me just go ahead and scroll down. Let me go ahead and add another paragraph in here. Oops, a daisy. And let me put a whole bunch of lorem ipsum text. So I'm just going to copy this because I don't feel like doing all of that. All right. So let's just say that I want to place a link here that will allow me to jump down to the second paragraph. So let me just save this, and we're going to switch back over to the browser real quick just so we can see what that looks like, right? We have two paragraphs here, right? So the idea is to insert a link above this first paragraph that allow us, that when clicked will jump down to the next paragraph, right? That's the content that we want to link to. Oops. And so to do that, I'm going to be adding an anchor link. And so in the code editor, what we want to do is first, like I said, we want to select the content we want to link to, and we want to apply a label to that content. So we do that with an ID. So remember that we're going to assign an ID. So to the second paragraph, we're going to go ahead and assign an ID to it. And we're just going to call this anchor one. Anchor one. Okay. That is the ID. Right. And so now when we want to link to this label, we have to go back to the link element, which is the A element. And in the Href attribute, we're going to insert the ID name. So the best way to always do this, the best practice is to just copy and paste the anchor name. Okay. Do not retype it. I've done typos. I know I've had plenty of students that always have typos, and then when they're doing homework or an assignment, they can't figure out why the anchor link works, and because they just didn't simply copy and paste. They decided to retype it, and in retyping it, they made a typo. And remember that code is only gonna do what we tell it to do, right? And so if it's not exact, it will not work. So just do yourself a favor and just copy the ID name. Don't retype it. If you do, it's at your own peril. So we're going to insert the ID name here, but then also in front of it, we need to put the pound sign, or what some people will call the number sign. Okay, so this is how you create an anchor link. You have to put the A tag. Oops, I meant to save, not select all, my bad. We're going to put the A tag. We're going to put the Href attribute, and within that Href attribute, we're going to put the name of the ID, the ID name of the element that we want to anchor link to. Okay, so let's go ahead and save these changes. Let's switch back to the browser and let's save. And let's save. And why isn't it showing a link right here? What did I do wrong? Let's see. Oh, you know what? The link is there. Something I forgot to show you guys. Okay, so there is another part to the links, to a link. So besides the actual function and link, you also need to insert some kind of text to the link, right? And so what I mean by text to is, if you've ever been on a web page, you see something like, to view this image, click here, or something like that. That click here is the link text. And so the link text gets inserted between the opening A tag and the closing A tag, right? So we can type something like, click to go to the last paragraph. Okay, so you see that there, that now everything for the link should be in there. So it's the A tag, the href with the ID name in it and a number sign in front, the link text, and then after the link text, the closing A tag. Oops, didn't mean to do that. After the link text, we have the closing link tag. So let me go ahead and save that. Let's switch back to the browser, refresh, and now we should see the link up there. Okay, we do, right? So, and this is a link, right? So actually, let me try to zoom in so you can see, right? So this is what a link looks like. So by default in your browser, it will always have that bluish color with an underline. And you notice that when you hover over it with a mouse, it will change to it may change to a pointer hand. And so when you click on this, now it's showing the pointer hand because I had that zoom on there. Sorry about that. So not on the link, it's the regular pointer. When it's hovering over the link, is a pointer hand. And if I click on it, it will take me to the last paragraph. So let's see if that works. And boom, it does, right? If I scroll up, I can see that, yes, it took me to the last paragraph. So that is how an anchor link works, okay? That is how an anchor link works. When you click it, it takes you to the location, all right? So one of the things you want to keep in mind with anchor links is that, yeah, it's great to create a link that takes you to where you want to go, but you also want to be mindful of the user and provide a way for the user to get back to where they were originally. So how can you do that? You can create another anchor link at that location to take the person back to the home location, right? So that means what? That you have to do another A tag, and you also have to add an ID at the home location to get the person back to where they were. So let's see what that would look like in our code sample. Okay, so if I wanted to do that, I could, for example, add a ID here, right, to this A tag. So I could add an ID of home, right? Now this has an ID, and if I want to link back to that, I can. I can put another link in here, a link element with href equals # home, right? And I can put here, get back to top, and put the closing A tag. And now what we should see when this is refreshed is that this web page will have 2 anchor links on there, right? It will have one link at the top of the page that lets us go to the last paragraph. And then that last paragraph will have one that lets us get back to the home page. So let's see how that looks. And again, keep in mind that since you haven't learned CSS yet, this doesn't have any CSS. This is just strictly ugly because it's not styled, but it works though. So let's go ahead and refresh the page. Let me zoom in here. All right. And let me take off that zoom so you can see everything. So again, there's a link here that's an anchor to the last paragraph. So if I click there, it goes to the last paragraph. Right? And if I zoom up a little, I scroll up a little bit, I see a new link in there that says get back to top. And if I click that, it takes me back to the top. Okay, so that is how anchor links work. What you want to make sure is that when you're creating the anchor link, you want to first plan it out, and you want to make sure that you are already deciding where you want to link to, the anchor text that you want to use in the anchor element, in the link element. So make sure what text you want to use, make sure it's something useful. Decide on the unique ID, apply that ID, and then make sure that when you're linking to it, that you're putting a # in front of the ID. All right. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to create anchor links. So keep in mind that anchor links are used for linking to document within a page. Later on, after I do this 3-part series on links, you're going to see how you can combine different features of linking within a page and to other pages to create some unique navigation capabilities. Okay, but that's pretty much it. It's really simple to create an anchor link on a page. So if you want to link, if you want to provide users a way to get to content quickly on the same page, this is how you would do it. So I hope that you found that helpful. If you did, please go ahead and click the like button on this video. Also, keep in mind that the code for this tutorial is going to be on my blog. Okay, the description, the link to that blog post is going to be included in the description for this video. If you know anyone that would find this tutorial helpful, please go ahead and share it with them. And lastly, if you want to be notified of any new videos that I upload to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's free. So thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Have a good rest of your day, and God bless.